What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 3 of Charge to the Top here with Hereford FC. And today I have you guys a massive game. This is, I don't want to say it's a 6-pointer in October, but it really is. This is a massively important game, I guess, in just the context of our entire season. Today we are going to be taking on Salisbury FC. They are top of the league, but we are at home, and I'm hoping that the bookies have it right when they have us down as favourites. As you can see, it's now mid-October. Of course, last episode was the FA Cup qualifying round, which, well, I think it's safe to say was something to forget. And really, since then, it's really been a mixed bag of results. We've had a tough run. It's not been pretty, to be honest, but in recent times, we have got 4 wins in our last 5 league games. We're kind of getting back on the straight and narrow, but, well, we need to get a good performance today. So anyway, since the Spennymoor game, which was last episode, as I said, we've played a decent amount of games. One in the FA Trophy, which we lost, and the rest have been in the league. And the first of these league games, as you can see here, was against the Winchester City FC. And as you can see here, it finished 0-0. Down Townsend sent off for us. It was a bit of a weird game, this one, in terms of, I don't know, we didn't play that great, but at the same time, we did well considering we were down a man, and we probably deserved to win. But 0-0 it finished. A clean sheet, I guess, is good. Following on from that, unfortunately, it went from bad to worse, really, as we lost 1-0 to Larkhall, an 83rd minute goal for them. They had 2 shots on target. One of them found their way into the back of the net. It was a very bitter pill to swallow. And, well, this was another game which really, it could have been ours. It probably should have been ours. But to not get anything from the game was particularly disappointing. Anyway, started doing some tactical tinkering, and it started to come good for us. As you can see here, we bounced back immediately with a win 4-0 against Wimborne. A variety of goal scorers, all in the second half. Jake Sinclair, David Lynch, Jerome Walker, Moulton also getting in on the score sheet, the centre-back. So that was a good little result there, and we bounced back again with another win, 3-1 against Taunton. As you can see, Matty Forster getting 2 goals for us, and we did have a man sent off in this game. But, well, you really wouldn't have known it. We were by far and away the better team. Just looking at Forster here, you can just see how good he is. A fantastic player, 18 years old, playing out on the right-hand side for us. 2 goals, both coming in this game. But he has been very instrumental for us, playing out wide. And, yeah, his 2 goals proved vital as we did run out victors against Taunton there. Anyway, the next game we had, a 3rd win in a row. Something that's not happened a lot this year against Wantage. And, well, this was a good little game. As you can see, Jake Sinclair grabbing the 2 goals, the former Southampton trainee, definitely our star man. He's been playing well. He's got 7 goals and 2 assists so far in 11 games, and this was another very impressive performance to add to that collection. We bounced back, the bounce back kind of halted as we lost to Ramsbottom 2-1. I mean, it's the FA Trophy, the league's my focus. You can see, looking at the game, there were very few chances in this game, and to be honest, we didn't really deserve to win. Fair play to Ramsbottom. They did win. They are in the Northern Premier First Division, so they are kind of on the same tier as us. They're in the North Division North, I believe, which is essentially the same tier as us, just in the northern area of the UK. So they're not a bad team, but still, to lose 2-1 again at home was a little bit disappointing. And, well, it went from bad to worse as we lost to Barnstaple. Barnstaple rather, not stable. 3-2 here. You can see we took 302 away fans. We actually had way more away fans than they had home fans, which was kind of amusing. Unfortunately, what wasn't amusing was the performance. A 3-2 defeat, probably deservedly so as well. They were very, very impressive in this game. But fortunately for us, we did bounce back going into this game against Salisbury with a 4-1 win. Disappointing to let the kind of clean sheet slip away late on, but nevertheless, good performance, good goals. Was very happy with that performance as a whole. So anyway, today we are taking on Salisbury. It's a massive game in the context of the league, because if we look at the league here, yes, we're in 2nd. It's going quite well, but we're 6 points behind Salisbury. And if we lose this game, 9 points behind them is going to be a very tough kind of gap to turn around as this season goes on. You can see, looking at the kind of goals scored and conceded, there's not a lot between ourselves and Salisbury, really. It's just been a fact of they've done very well in terms of avoiding defeats. It's perhaps worth noting that Salisbury were predicted to finish 2nd in the league, and actually, if we look at the team, where are we looking? Team detailed stats, they actually have a higher salary per year than us. So, you know, they have quite good players. You know, they're not a bad team by any means. They've got a few good players in on loan, such as Kieran Porcella here. You can see the English centre-back on loan from Newport County. A pretty good little centre-back, really. And while speaking of transfers, we've had a few of our own going on. The first of which was actually the departure of a player, and that was Lewis Haldane, who has left on a free transfer. Now, There were a few different reasons why I let this guy go. First and foremost, he was complaining about lack of first-team football. He's 31 years old. He wasn't going to be starting too regularly for us. He didn't really play that well during his spell. In truth, he didn't really impress me in training either. And another reason, kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, was someone pointed out on episode 1 in the comments that he used to play for Bristol Rovers, and so as a result of that, he's kind of a bit of a nemesis of Hereford. So I released him. That was like the straw. I was just like, let's get rid of him then. He didn't want any compensation, so that was nice. And we have got another player who is possibly on the out. And I know this one will come as a disappointment to Hereford fans, but it's actually Pablo Haysham. He's been kicking up a massive fuss about wanting to go. I've been playing him fairly regularly here. You can see it's not like he's not been playing football. But yeah, he's been kicking up a fuss, really been a disruption in the changing room, and he looks like he might be on his way out of the club to Salisbury on a free transfer. So anyway, on the Inge, you may have noticed a new signing, a player from Bury, a player who I didn't actually think I was going to be able to sign, but I did the ask assistant or interact with board and ask them to sign a player, and they wanted to sign him. So here we have Victor Ogbu, former Bury trainee. I think he could be a kind of useful player for us. You can see if we just highlight his key attributes as an advanced forward, really only his heading, passing and work rate let him down. You know, the 11 finishing, good dribbling, his determination, decisions and composure are all good. Off the ball is fairly decent too. Perhaps his physicals could be a tad better. Unfortunately, he bruised his ribs on his debut in the game that we most recently played, and he didn't get on the score sheet. But nevertheless, the 17-year-old comes in for, I think it was £10,000 paid. It's not a massive fee by any means. It's a good little signing to make from a League 2 club as well. And yeah, hopefully that's a sign of progress that the club is making as a whole. Speaking of progress the club's making, as you can see, you're looking at the finances. We are in the bank. We are making a lot of money. I didn't quite realise how much money we were going to be making this season. But obviously, having 2,000 plus fans turn up regularly is really helping our bank balance. It's up to £300,000, which is great. In terms of what we're doing with that money, obviously, I expect our wage budget and transfer budget to rise, if not in January, for next season, certainly. And we have a few things going on, including new training facilities, which are currently being built. They're going to be done, I believe, as you can see here, for September next season. So we've got about 11 months to wait for them. But the new training facilities and the upgrade to them is a welcome addition to the club, because our facilities as a whole are pretty shocking. Of course, Hereford FC, a newly established club. Hereford themselves, massive debt problems in their later years. I think the club exchanged hands for, I think, £2 at one point, to give you an idea of just how bad it was, because there was such a massive debt over the club. Obviously, that debt's no longer kind of a thing really for us, and the finances are good. But as a result, we've got some kind of groundwork to make up in terms of actually getting some training facilities we can be proud of. And I do feel like that is going to be where our money is invested. I believe that training facility upgrade that we have going on is going to cost in the region of £90,000 to put things into perspective. So anyway, that's what's been going on in terms of matches, in terms of transfers, in terms of just the club as a whole. In terms of the squad, as you can see here, looking at the goal scorers, David Lynch and Jake Sinclair really, really performing well for us. David Lynch, of course, joined us this year, the 25-year-old. He has 6 goals in 13 appearances in the league. Jake Sinclair, on the other hand, has 7 goals in 11 games, so those two players linking up very well. Forster, I already talked about, is performing exceptionally well too. And Dan Townsend, the centre mid, he's been creating a lot of goals for us. 5 assists in 12 games, an average rating of 7.23. Looking like a very good player for us, the 25-year-old. So in terms of our tactical system, how we're kind of shaping up, this is what I'm starting to play now. It's kind of been a steady evolution, this 4-4-2, as I kind of find something I'm comfortable with. As you can perhaps see, we now have a target man in Simmons, who has really been performing well as a target man. You can see here, he is well suited to that role, particularly stuff like his aggression, bravery, just his heading, jumping, reach and strength. He's an ideal target man for at this level, and he's played well there for us, particularly having Sinclair or David Lynch playing off him. In the defence, we are now playing with defensive centre-backs, of course, formerly known as limited defenders. We don't really need our defenders to do much more than defend, and defend is what they are doing really, really well at the moment. So we've got Ryan Green back in the side, of course, the 36-year-old, and alongside him, Lewis Lacey starting to nail down that position. Of course, Mason Watkins-Clark came in at centre-back as a player I thought would play regularly, but so far, he's not really impressed so much, and Lewis Lacey, I believe, has the highest average rating in the club, and he's been a great player for us. You can see, obviously, consistent performer, enjoys big matches, has the potential to be a Vanarama North-South defender, and he'd be a leading player for most Vanarama North and South teams now. He's a very good centre-back, and at 22 years old, a player who I think can be a vital component of this team going forward. Anyway, Wakeman in goals still a little bit questionable, if I'm honest. His average ratings have been a little bit off. But you can see here at 18 years old, he is continuing to improve the youngster. Still a very good goalkeeper, and he's only on £30 a week, as he did recently sign a year extension to his contract. At left back, Kane Lewis has started to nail down this position as his own. In truth, his performances haven't been too outstanding as of yet. But as a fullback on the attack duty, he's fairly well suited to this area, particularly his physicals. His pace and acceleration allow him to get on the overlap well. His work rate and teamwork aren't too bad either, so really helps having him as a fullback capable of pushing forward, and of course only 18 years old. At right back, Charlie Johnson back into the side. Actually been out for a little while with a sprained ankle back in August, but he has started to get back in and play regularly at right back, a very good player there. Out on the right hand side today, we are going to be going with Jayden Hall. A fantastic player, definitely more of a winger than a wide midfielder, but truth be told, he's got the physicals to get up and down the pitch. He's performed well, despite the fact that you can kind of see here when we highlight key attributes to the role, he's not really a wide midfielder in any sense of the word, but, well, 2 goals and 3 assists, a 7.5 average rating in the league. He's performing there, and that's all that you can really ask for. Out on the left, Matty Forster, performing well too, 18 years old, one of course, a few young players he brought into the side. In centre mid, we have Rob Purdy, still the 34-year-old, one of only a few players, really, who were at Hereford when I joined, who remain kind of a regular mainstay in the first team. Of course, a player who can just play pretty much anywhere on the pitch, with the exception of sweeper, centre-back and goalkeeper. Most recently for us, he's been playing centre mid, although he has been playing fullback earlier on in the year, but still a very good experienced player with some good little mentals too, particularly his teamwork and work rate. Alongside him, of course, we have Dan Townsend, the assist machine, 13 vision, 10 passing, 10 technique. Great work rate, good teamwork as well, and his physicals aren't too bad either. A very, very good player, Dan Townsend, for this division. Again, one of a few players who have signed the year extensions, which will see them stay at the club until at least the end of next season. As I said, Simmons coming into the side as a target man. He's been fairly recently playing here for us. He's performed okay, 3 assists, 1 goal. Can't really ask for a lot more from your target man on support. Maybe a few more goals will be nice to add to his repertoire, but he has been providing some nice service and winning good balls in the air for the likes of David Lynch and the player who will be starting today, Jake Sinclair, kind of playing as that lone forward. A very good player attacking wise, of course, more naturally a right winger, but doesn't really fit into our current system with the 4-4-2 in that area, and he will be playing as our advanced forward for today's game. Anyway, on the bench we've got a few options. We've got Mason Watkins-Clark just as a little bit of coverage in the kind of centre-back position. We have Jamie Edge on the bench, a very good defensive midfielder for at this level. 23 years old now, getting on a little bit, but still a very good player in our team. We then have Kim, another good player. He's performed particularly well, really. He's had a few off performances recently in the league, but a 7.45 average rating in the FA Cup. A very good, versatile little player as well. Good leadership, good work rate. His physicals aren't too standout, but he has enough to trouble opposition teams when he does come on off the bench. And of course, the coverage that he offers across, well, the entirety of kind of our flat midfield is invaluable from the bench. We also have Jerome Walker on the bench, a very rapid player, again, kind of the ideal sub for at this level, a player who can come on, has that explosive pace, can cause teams trouble. And the last player we have, David Lynch, performing very well. You can see consistent performer, obviously has the ability to do the unexpected with his 15 flair. Great acceleration, very good physicals as a whole, really, and he has the finishing too. Won't be starting for today's game, but definitely an option on off the bench. In terms of other players who aren't going to be playing today, there's a few names that might come as a bit of a surprise. Players like Jacob Cook have kind of fallen out of favour with me. He was a player who was starting regularly to start the season. His performances just really haven't been good enough for us, and as a result, he's kind of been outside of the first team more recently. Jonah Moulton has played well. I probably should give this guy more opportunities, in truth. The 19-year-old, only on £20 a week. But a very solid player for us. He's got a few important goals for us. You can see, I think he got a winner in a 3-2. No, in fact, no, I'm lying here. He got a goal, I think, in the 4-1 win most recently. He's a good player in the air, though, and a good little centre-back who we can rely on. And if we do have an injury crisis there's a lot of faith that I have to kind of just bring him into the side and for him to do the job that's required of him. So yeah, in terms of the team, the 4-4-2 kind of remains. In terms of team instructions, I've made it a lot simpler now. We've got closing down on sometimes shorter passing. We play with balanced width, sit a little bit deeper, and we're just playing on the attack. There's nothing too fancy going on here. You know, I've not got any additional instructions on players anymore. We're just keeping it simple, and to be honest, this system as a whole has been working quite nicely, particularly the target man on support, a role which, in truth, I've not used that much in Football Manager in recent years, but it's been serving us well here. I still don't feel 100% happy with the system, but obviously results as of late have been significantly improved if you were to ignore the Barnes, Staple and Ramsbottom results. And I'm hoping that today against Salisbury we can give a good little performance. So as I said, this is a bit of a 6-pointer in October. It's going to be a big game for us. A win here would cut the gap between ourselves and Salisbury to just the 3 points, which would be very, very important at this stage. But no, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tricky. As I said, they have a higher wage kind of total per year than we do. They have money themselves, Salisbury. They are not a small team by any means, but they're still a team that we should be expecting to beat. And, well, I'm a little bit worried that if we lose this game, I'm going to have to make some moves in January. And as I said, the finances of our club are very, very solid, to the stage where I wouldn't be surprised if the wage budget and transfer budget were increased quite noticeably, either in January or certainly for next season. But if they improve for January, and if we were to lose this game, I think we're going to have a hard look at our squad and see what options are out there. Of course, being in the 8th tier, there's not a plethora of players we can kind of come in and sign to make a massive difference for us. But there are certainly some gems out there, and if I was to hunt hard enough, I'm sure I could find players willing to perhaps take a step down a division or two to play regular first-team football for us. And if that means that we have to do that to mount a title challenge, then I won't hesitate to do so, because of course in this division only the top team get automatic promotion, and I absolutely detest playoffs. So anyway, let's see how we get on here. 0-0, not a lot happening early on. I mean, possession 50-50. We've had the better of the chances. We might have a chance here too. Purdy to Hall, edge of the box. Can he play it across? He can. Townsend to Simmons, and Simmons, the target man, a player who I said if he could add a few goals it would be fantastic. He's got a goal for us here. We find ourselves 1-0 up, and well, so far so good. Salisbury with just the 1 shot and 0 on target. Their pass completion not ideal. We've created a few more chances, and finally we make things count. 30 minutes gone, still early on really in this game, but to get our noses ahead prior to half time is a good situation to be in. And now if we can just kind of maintain this level of performance, I'd be pretty confident that going into the half-time break we will be at least 1 goal to the good. Nice little bit of build-up play here. The shorter free kick taken. Simmons finds himself with an inch of space. Nice slotted finish. Perhaps Lumley in goal for them should do a little bit better, but well, we're not going to complain one little bit. We find ourselves 1 goal up, and well, with 35 minutes gone, it's a pretty good start against a team who have only lost 1 game so far this season. Jaden Hall has gashed his leg. That is going to be problematic. We're going to give Kim a run out. I kind of like Jerome Walker, but his stamina isn't great. He gets burnt out fairly quickly playing out wide. So Kim Jae-hyun, the former Portsmouth youngster, he's going to come into the side. His average ratings in the league have been a little bit questionable as of late, but I have the faith in him. He's a natural centre mid as well, and that does help in the wide midfielder role where you are required to do a little bit more defensively. And well, he wins the ball there. Kim, of course, number 15. He's got a point to prove perhaps. Now with Lewis, up to Forster. Options in the middle. Simmons is going to be there. So is Sinclair. And Sinclair finds the back of the net. We find ourselves 2 goals to the good. And, well, it's a quick double whammy before half-time. The goal coming in the 45th minute of this game, and it was a nice little bit of build-up play really. Kim did well to win the ball. He spreaded it out wide. Forster found himself with some green space to run into in front of him, and well, the ball on a plate for Sinclair, who's not the greatest in the air, but he wasn't challenged, and well, he slots it home. And at half-time, 2-0 up, and well, we couldn't really hope for a better performance against Salisbury here. You know, we've had a fairly good run of form in the last kind of 6 or so games, where we've lost 2 of our last 6 but won 4 of them. But going into this game, it was always going to be tough because Salisbury are a good side. But, well, after that first half performance, we can relax perhaps just that little bit more because we have looked like the better team. The tactics have kind of worked for us today. And, well, could we score immediately after half-time, or is this going to be a pointless highlight? We all know what the answer is. It's a pointless highlight. They always are. Game, just don't tempt me. Thank you very much. But no, as I said, so far, so good. Looking at the stats, you know, continuing to be very much in our favour. Possession's been 50-50. Salisbury have struggled to craft out opportunities. Had a few more shots perhaps in this second half early on, but in truth, just the 1 half chance for them. And, well, we've had the 2 clear-cut chances, and both have been taken by us. And it's been that clinicalness of those chances when they've fallen our way, which is seeing us ahead in this game. And, well, with an hour gone, we already used 1 sub, of course, following on from that injury. But I don't feel like we need to change too much. The team is performing well. Perhaps the fitness of Kane Lewis and Townsend needs to be monitored a little bit carefully. Also a few bookings with our defenders. We have had a few red cards this year. I don't really want to change it at the back because I do feel like Lewis, Lacey and Johnson are 2 very important players for us. And, well, they're on the attack here. Lacey wins it. Route 1 up to Sinclair. Can he finish it? Make it free. He smashes it over, but a penalty's given. That was an incredibly late tackle by Parsley, or Purcell even. I just guessed the end of his name because it was covered by Sinclair. But that was a very late tackle. I actually missed it. I was ball watching. I would not be a good referee. The referee mercifully not sending him off, but we do now have a penalty. It's going to be taken by Purdy, who has very good penalty taking, the centre mid / fullback / anywhere on the pitch except sweeper, goalkeeper and centre-back. Can he score the number 8? He steps up, he slots it home. It's 3-0. We are going to get all 3 points, I think, now in this massive game. 24 minutes left. In truth, Salisbury never really in this game. We've been the better team throughout. And, well, the away fans here, I think they're trying to put off Purdy. He doesn't care. Look at them, they're heartbroken. How many are there? We can actually count how many away fans there are. There's not many, is the technical total for how many there were. I think I saw 10. On screen, but well, it's 3-0. It's very comfortable. We can make a few changes now. I'm going to actually take off Sinclair and bring on David Lynch just to give him a bit of first team football. I'm also going to take off Townsend just because he's a very important player for us, Townsend. 63% condition, getting into the realms of perhaps the injury danger zone there. And of all our players, I feel like he's one of the few players that really we don't have a immediate kind of viable replacement who can come in, play that advanced playmaker role, has that vision to really craft out opportunities. And well, Townsend, he is our big playmaker. I want to shield him. And, well, it looks like it's going to be a good move here. A few of our defenders on red, yellow cards. I'm not really a fan of that. Let's hope that we can maintain our discipline now with just 2 minutes left. And, well, time's slipping away here. Salisbury, they're a tough team. I thought this was going to be harder than it's actually transpired to be. It's going to be a very convincing 3-0 win here against our big promotional rivals. We cut the point kind of total and deficit between us and them to just 3 points and goal difference, which I believe would be in our favour. But no, big game for us. Obviously, we've had a few slip-ups, but these are the kind of games, the 6-pointers, which can really define a season. And hopefully now we can build momentum off the fact that we've beaten a team who, going into this game, had only lost one of their last 13 league games and continue to close the gap on them. Just looking behind us a little bit, you can see here Taunton only, well, I was about to say they're only a few points behind us, but actually they've got the same amount of points as us. Of course, a team who we played a little while ago, Taunton. I feel like we beat them, actually. Yeah, we did, 3-1. So they're a tricky team too, but we have got the win over them. Swindon also going strong. They've only lost 2 games this year. They actually beat us earlier on in the year, so they're not a bad team. And Totton also not too far off the pace. It's still very, very tight at the top in truth. And there's a lot of teams going to be waiting, hoping that we, if we slip up or when we slip up, that they are in the kind of contention, I guess, to close that gap. But anyway, guys, a good result there against Salisbury. Definitely the kind of performance we needed off the back of that last game. Very pleasing to obviously close the gap on them at the top of the table. Hopefully now with a few easier games. We've already played the likes of Swindon. Was it Totton? The team in third. I can't remember who it was now. But no, we've played a lot of the teams around us is kind of what I'm trying to say. We've played Taunton, we've played Swindon. Have we played Totton yet? Don't think we have. In fact, we've got them next game. We've got a little bit of a break until that game. That's going to be an important one. But kind of looking beyond that, we've got a few nice results. I think the next game we'll come back for will be that Swindon game. In fact, that's quite a few games away. It's 10 games away. I feel like that's a nice margin. Swindon S. What does the S stand for? It stands for Supermarine. Of course it does. How obvious was that? Right, guys, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do leave a like. It is greatly appreciated. As always, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And other than that, hopefully we can continue to march up the table. Hopefully when you're back in 10 games' time, we'll still be right up there with the likes of Salisbury. And yeah, other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. I'm out.